Hey guys. Um so right now I'm just writing whatever's in my head. I'm writing about the really quotes about improvement, how we can extend improvement towards those we love. Actually, really looking up to those who we love that are wanting us to improve, that accept improvement with those they love, and we have to look at ourselves as to keep the ongoing improvement moving at a rapid pace. But the thing is, what's really important is that when we think of improvement, we're not thinking of being perfectionists. We're not thinking of being perfect to one another. I'm not perfect, neither are people in my community. There is things I can improve on. There's a very, I will say, there are ways. I mean, for me, there's ways of, like, basically, like, the thing is, for me, like, I have to improve what is. So for comfort, I have to improve, because that is one of the struggles I struggle with, is my comfort being violated. And people can improve upon that by knocking or be like, hey, can we talk? But I'm usually the one that has to be like, I'm kind of busy, I can come out. And I always do. I always, I always, and I'm not saying that I move slow through things, but I shouldn't have to be forced, or my dad coming in here stating that I'll be done eating by before you even get out here. He wasn't. It's like, it doesn't matter how slow or fast you eat, for crying out loud. It's not a competition. We're not even doing a competition. I don't care. I don't. Nobody should have to frickin' eat incredibly fast to beat somebody else. It's not a race. It's not a marathon of who can eat the fastest. But um I will say, ongoing improvement is doing what you're told, listening to what somebody is telling you, but also doing what you are told to do, knowing the rules, knowing the boundaries of what you can do on an everyday basis, and knowing what you have to do on a daily basis is incredibly important. Not leaving, but as I said, we're not all perfect. We're not going to be in tip mean. A lot of us aren't going to be in tiptoe shape financially. The way we dress, we have every right to dress. As long, I would say, yes. And I've gone to school with many of my friends that would do this, and I don't, obviously, I mean, if they're warm, I don't have any, like, say in it. But I used to go to school with my friends that wore shorts in the winter. And when, and I'm like, by the end of the day, your feet must be cold. I mean, your ass probably, hopefully won't get frostbite on the way home. But the thing is, I can't predict what people do in life. I can't predict sometimes I mean, I have an idea of what I want to do in my life. I have an idea of what I want to carry with me in my life, but I just don't really know like how I'm going to puzzle it all together. Because that's the thing is you could be working with a big puzzle here. Like it could be like an 800 piece puzzle. It could be an 1,000 piece puzzle. One of the best ways one of the best ways of solving a puzzle, and this is something I've learned doing puzzles and having puzzles as a kid. I remember one of the memories I had with my dad was if my mom went out, if she worked late or if she say was out with with a family member or my grandmother or out with a friend or doing something, that she wanted to do. I my dad and I would pull out one of my big floor puzzles and put it together. Um but that's the thing, puzzles keep your brain going too. Like they help your mind develop a lot of figuring out. But one of the things with puzzles is that's really awesome is like separating like the flat edges because that's what's going to build the frame, and then the inner puzzle pieces to separate those from the flat edge pieces. Because I mean, that's what my dad and I usually did was we would build the frame, the what shapes the puzzle, and then whatever was in between, those would be the pieces you would try to match up. I do have a puzzle that I actually have that I kept, but it's a Marvel Funko Pop puzzle, which I will do at some point on a live. Um, and I have all the pieces do it as well. It's downstairs in its box, but yeah, we could even do something like a puzzle. I also have Thanos. I have his glove that we could do as well. But I thought tonight we would actually finish off my collection on the Pyrus Bakugan, but I'm gonna have to. I know we got through a lot of Bakugan. Yeah. So as far as where we left off, I'm just gonna close this guy here. This is an Ultra, but he's a good Ultra too. Some of these Bakugan I have like mad respect for. But Bakugan actually are really good brain teasers as well, because like you're not building, but you're like when you they're like good fidgets by kind of like opening and closing them back into their ball or like natural or their character form, whether it's an animal or like Bakugan are really good for that for fidgeting purposes. There we go. But this is a really good one. So we went over Dragonoid, Jetra. As I said, Jetra is a personal favorite. I would say she's my favorite core Bakugan. As far as playing her in game, she is great. And she holds, as a lot of the other Bakugan, she's like, I would say she's my number one favorite core in my whole collection. Um, okay, so we did go over Pegatrix. I remember that. Oh, that's right. We have Hooks, so that he's from the new line, and then we have Butterclaw, which he's a crab. That's a weird name for a Bakugan, Butterclaw. It's like it actually sounds like a food brand, or like a almost like specifically butter for a crab, like its own brand. Well, yeah, Behemoth. We did show him off. But Behemoth actually is, so it's funny because him and Dragonoid are actually related. And I had thought Dragonoid was like his only like each Bakugan didn't really weren't they were like their own thing, but Behemoth is family, or in Dragonoid's family tree, which would make him a cousin. But yeah. So we have a couple that we still need, and we still have the ultras, but I'm just grabbing the ones we have not done for core Bakugan. All right, cool, cool beans. Um, and I'm gonna pull out the cards associated with these guys. Uh, Tom do live, Jen. Okay. But unfortunately, Butterclaw is definitely my least favorite. I mean, I do like crabs. I like different species of crabs, though. He's very boring. But yeah, and just so you guys know, I have not forgotten about Deltora Quest. I actually thought we would read more of it tonight. I know I've been saying that, but tonight is the night. I did not go to the church today. My mom is having an issue with her truck as well. It has to do with the RPM, meaning that, I mean, it's at an average number, but if it goes any higher, then she would have to take it into the to get it fixed, but she would be able to get it fixed for free, because she qualifies for that. Her mileage will be able to, or she'll be able to get it for free, get it fixed for free with no charge, which is really good. Because she has a warranty on her truck, so which is really good. But yeah, if it goes, as I said, she's smart. She knows where to go. Like, So we definitely have things figured out with that. But oh yeah, these are my Arliss Bakugan. Yeah, my character deck for my Arliss Bak. Yeah, there's Jamoga, Trino, Enoch, Hydras, Batrix, Insectra, Babadrill, Amphorog, Titan King, Swarmer, Ghost Beast, Skyhorse, Nano Lancer, and Serpentine. Alright, Pyrus Bakugan, here we come. So we have, as I said, we've got 4 more core Bakugan to show. I'm actually going to move my journal there. But we did Pegatrix, Behemoth, and oh shoot, I think we put our cores back. I'm gonna go run and get the cores. But yeah, I still have to upload that video. But I'm doing them. Actually, you know what? Maybe no. What I'll do is I'll wait to upload this one that I'm doing tonight. But I'll upload the one I did last night because that's part 1 to this one, to this video. So yeah, here is Shartar, Spartilian, and then we have, so this Trox and Saurus, right? Yep, Trox and Saurus is the other one. So actually, we could actually do a full game, or show you guys what a full game would consist of. But before we do that, we'll get through the Pyrus. But here is our, we don't have a card for the Pyrus Sectinoid because he was a used Bakugan. So, but we can print out his. All right. So yeah, here's the fuse together. Boom. Alright, so let's show off Sharktar first. Now, Sharktar is a really cool Bakugan. Um, so a little history on Sharktar. He was the starter Bakugan and Geogon Rising for Shun, the water. So it's funny because Shun was also, so they used his name twice. They used him in the Battle Brawler series where he was a Ventus trainer, not the same character. And then in Battle Planet, they used his name, or that same name again, and made him an Aqua's trainer. But it's not, as I said, he's not the same character. That's the big difference. All right, so for Sharktar, we need a green fist as well. And we'll do this one here. But we'll also bring out a orange trap. Let's see. Or at least a... This might not be super bad. As I said, I'm trying to look at some really horrible... Yeah. For me, trying to find a bad orange shield trap. It's not impossible, but... Okay, here's one. Cool. Perfect. Actually, yeah, we got that guy there, and... So we're going to put this one back. Maybe not. Actually, no, we're not going to put that one back. Here's our good. We got good, good, bad. So I'm going to choose one green fist. That is a bad one. That is a trap. A legit trap. The trap. Trap of what? Trap of... Alright. We've got this -2 attack trap. So... Okay. So here is... So I'll show you. I'll pop Pyrus Sharktar, but he's a shark. It says right in his name. So he automatically comes with 800 B power. As I said, Shun has an Aquas Sharktar as his core Bakugan in the Geogon Rising series. Now Sharktar, I mean, this is what he looks like. He is a very unique Bakugan. I would say that Sharktar and Hydorus, I mean, I can't really choose between those two core Bakugan that Shun has had. I like both of them equally for many different reasons. But Sharktar already comes with 800 B power on his card here. He has one attack, and to use him, he takes a orange shield and a green fist. Now, our good green fist here is going to give our Sharktar here a nice bonus. And the bonus coming along with that, I mean, we get 2 bonuses here if you land on this core. I mean, you could do that, or I feel like if it just... I think you have to choose one of the bonuses, or if they're just, unless you can get them both. I think you can actually do that where you basically can do it so, like, if we wanted to choose, all right, so say if we landed on this core and we flipped it over, I mean, it wouldn't make a. I'm not sure if he would get both bonus. I would think he would. Yeah, he would. I can't. I mean, I'm gonna have to look at the rules or at least the cores. But but the answer is if he lands on this core, he would be getting both bonuses. So he would be getting that 100 B power, and if he is a Pyrus or Chaos Bakugan, he would get +3 attack. So this is a Pyrus Sharktar, so he would be getting both bonuses. So he would be getting 900 because we're plussing that 100 onto his 800, which would give him 900. And then we're adding the 1 to the 3 attack he has for his bonus here, which would bring him up to 4. Um, but Sharktar is, he can be very strong. He has an ultra form as well, which also came in the same uh weight or Jugon Rising line as well. Um but I do like Sharktar. I think he's definitely would be a good core Bakugan. If you were to do like, if you were to have like a, like, what is it, like a, if you know, a deck and 3 because the thing is, to play the game you need 3 Bakugan, their character cards, the cores that are associated with each of the cards, and you would need to have um a deck as well of ability cards, of other character cards as well, if they're evolution cards, maybe of that Bakugan that you have. Also trainer cards as well, but Sharktar is one of the good cores. Now, to follow up on a trap green fist, this one's small, but it's gonna take away, so he would be down to 0 attack. Like, he wouldn't have an attack if you were to land on this. Now, since he also has a, so actually no, the, hang on, I gotta look at this again. So yeah, if that drops to 0 with this trap core, he wouldn't be dealing any damage. So this would be, although his B power would be the same, he wouldn't be able to have any attack damage. Now here's where, so this is basically, so this is important to note. This is an orange shield because Sharktar also has a orange shield to use him. Now, the -2 energy are from the ability cards, meaning that he would, I gotta read this for a second. So if we were to pull out an ability card, so Searing Strike, it takes 2 energy, meaning that we wouldn't be able to use Searing Strike because we're getting taken away 2 energy. So really, this would be a good core. This would be a good. So we would be gaining 900 B power, but if we had, say, so yeah, we wouldn't be able to use at all or use any ability cards. So that would really suck. But here's a really good orange shield core. Now we land on this with Sharktar. He would be up, so he would actually go up to 1100 B power. So 8, so he's already at 8, 9, 1000, 1100. So yeah, this is gonna bring him up to 1100 B power. So that would be a really good one. And this would be another big trap. This would be a -300 B power, so he would be going down to 400 if he landed on this core. But really, I mean, the cores, and I feel like the cards really shape the game as well. I'm gonna show you guys a full battle situation using these Pyrus Bakugan. So, to show you guys firsthand what a game actually is gonna do. But there is core Sharktar. Next up, we've got Spartillion. So Spartillion this is his Pyrus faction, and he only has 100 B power, so he is one of the lowest B power core Bakugan. But alright. So I think for him we'll use, because he consists of a let's see. Of a magic shield. we'll give him this one. This is gonna do a really good. Or we could even do it. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, mine is. Okay, so here's what's really good about I'm gonna take out. So I'm gonna explain this. So we need to, let's see. Let's choose a really okay. Here's one. So that's gear. Okay, so here's one. So this is an ability called Pyrus Flash Fire. Now, if Spartillion were to land on this, he would get 200 B power, but he would have to sacrifice 2 energy. So he would still be. We could still be. So pretty sure how that works is that to send this card out, it would cost 4 energy. But if we get taken 2 away, we wouldn't be able to use this because, as I said, to use this card, we would need 4, so we wouldn't be able to use it. Okay, so Spartillion is, as I said, he's his attack is average, but his B power when he comes out, it can change depending on the cores. He doesn't have an ability though. I would say you would want to use not if I would say you would want him to hit a good core, so orange, and then here our magic shield. If he lands on this, this is a major bonus. This is 650, so he would be at 750 B power if he landed on that. Here we go. So Sectinoid, we can look up his card and see what he requires for cores, because I don't have a physical card for him. Alright, so here is Pyrus Sectinoid now. He's going to be a really good Bakugan for hitting, for having a lot of physical damage, because his B power is at 100, like Spartillion, but his attack, I feel like, is what's really going to give him his attack damage, that is. So here's our Pyrus Sectinoid right here. And I see he uses magic shields. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can get a really good. Okay, here's a really good one. Here's a good trap. Wow. Took me that. Alright. So here is almost called him insectinoid, but sectinoid, I was close. His spelling is weird, so it's not insectinoid, it's sectinoid. So it's sectanoid. But so his cores are two, as I said, two magic shields, blue shields. This one would be it would be a trap for him, minus 500 B power. So we're taking, that would leave him, that would be 400 B power, I believe, taken away. But it says minus 500. So, yeah, you would minus the 100 from the, or, and then plus 650 B power, he would be gaining 750. But if we wanted to boost his attack, I have a couple that would boost his attack, but I think he's going to be that type of Bakugan that deals more like physical damage. Because he's like at 10 attack damage, meaning that he's gonna be hitting more than I feel like defending. But we also have another sectinoid, which is the elemental rare that we showed in the Ventus showcasing, which I did upload. But yeah, there is. Come on, dude. There we go. But our next Bakugan is a fusion Bakugan. But in order for this card to work, we would need the Darkest Trox. Because fusion Bakugan are two Bakugan fused into one. But I will show you what Trox X what's her name? Ceres looks like. I do have that Bakugan, which I'll show you her in a second. But here is our fusion, but it's a cross between Trox. Those of you who know who Trox is, that's the T-Rex, the Ventus T-Rex. Winston had a Ventus Trox as his core Bakugan. And the difference between the fused Bakugan and regular these ones are fused with two and make one Bakugan. So we've got fire and what is it? Darkest. Yep. So when we focus on Trox, so Trox would be the 12 attack, 1000 B power. So he's one of our stronger fusions. But as I said, to use this one, we would need to have Darkest Trox in our possession, which I think he would be easy. He'd be easy to get. But I'm pretty sure we need the two Bakugan to use this fusion. Yep. And we would have to have a deck that combined Pyrus and Darkest as well. Or if you happen to have Trox Darkish Trox and Ceres together on the battlefield, you could fuse them if it was your turn. But yeah, so we're looking good. So now we're gonna get into the Ultra Bakugan, which we've got a lot of those. All right. And one of my favorites there. Okay, that is Sectinoid, right? No, that's Sectinoid. Who is this guy? Oh, this is Sauron. Duh. Okay, so yeah, we. All right, so we'll show Sauron for right now. I am gonna put these guys back in. Shoot. Here's Saris. So she already comes with 800 B power plus 4 attack. She would definitely be an ultra I would use in a fire deck, or because the thing is you can have more than one element box. So you could have like a one Pyrus Bakugan, one Dark Bakugan, one Aqua. So really, you just have to have the character cards in the right Baku cores for them. But Saurus has 800 B power plus 4 attack, and she uses a magic shield and a green fist. So we're gonna use what is provided with us. For us, I mean, we could do a little boost with the green fist. I mean, that would also boost up her attack by 7. And give her either a big trap. Two. I mean, let's figure out because so. All right, so 800 minus 500 is 800, 700, 600, 500, 400, 300. So yeah, this would bring her down to 300. This would be a really big trap. Um, this here would so 8 plus 800. So 8 plus 6 is 14. So she would be at 1450 for B power. Actually, I'm wondering if it only goes up to 10,000 B, like if that's the max B power a Bakugan can get. Okay, so Generation 2. So these are referred to as Generation 2. But because they came out between 2019 and 2026. High level Bakugans such as Ventus Nova Pegatrix and Diamond Hydronoid Ultra can reach over 2,300 B power with some base toys starting at 800 to 1,000 B power plus 10,000 B. Yeah. So it is 1,000. Okay. I keep saying 10,000, but I mean, but yeah, here is Saurus. I will say she is definitely. So, yeah, maybe I'm gonna do some research on this, but yeah, but I think she would be a really good Bakugan to really take on. But what's really cool about Bakugan is all of them. I don't know if they did it. I can't remember it in the second generation if they did it. If like elements, I mean, I would think water Bakugan would be able to really damage and do automatic bonus damage to Pyrus Bakugan, but I don't want to make a false remark on that because it could have changed. But all right, let's keep going. Let's go with okay. We have let's go with Sharktar. Let's go with our Ultra Sharktar. Here he is. He's 700. It is funny. It is cool to think that what is it? Our Sharktar, actually, no, they're actually yeah. Ultra Sharktar has lower B power than the core Sharktar, but that could be a very good thing too. As I said, since we have ability cards and the character cards, it could be the Bakugan can definitely change game by a lot. So shield plus. Okay, so here is Sharktar Ultra. He comes in with 700 B power, and let's see. We're going to use him as like a damage dealer. I think he'd be a really good one to really get his hits in. Alright, but I want to know what this little mark means here. It's Okay. So this base, okay. So the two little like blaster icons, so it's a double strike. It makes your Bakugan deal double their damage on victory, on Victor. So if we land on, okay, so that makes sense. Okay, so that actually makes a lot of sense. Let's find a or an orange shield that actually increases attack, and we can kind of go from there. All right, here's one. This one's small, so we're gonna. This one is gonna give us. So we land on this guy here. It's gonna give us 750, but it's gonna give us also one attack. But if we automatically land on this, we're actually gonna get enough. So it's gonna bring us to 3 attack damage because we're doubling it because he's already got one. Or no, wait a second. So no, that's not. So the thing, okay. So that makes sense. So if our Shark Tar battles another opponent and wins, we can okay. That so it's more of like an add-on bonus if we come out victorious. Meaning if we destroy our opponent's Bakugan, he will get that bonus from the shield. So this is going to give him one attack. And the card's ability here is if we're victorious, um, the double strike, so we get a double strike on victory, meaning that it would be actually it would be 4. He would be getting 4 if we, I mean, when we get those extra 2, we would have to win the fight. So Shark Tar Ultra actually might even be a really good example of a Bakugan who can deliver a couple attacks. But here he's got an ability where he can do a double strike. So right there, that's 4 attack. I mean, 4 attack damage. So that's the same thing with Spartillion because he has the same icon. So we can double. So if he were to win, so if he were to win, he would get he would be up to 6 attack damage. So he has that same ability, but he doesn't have to be on the shield core. He would be getting those double hits automatically. right, so very cool. So our next Bakugan. Actually, let me close Ultra Shark Tar back up. All right, let's go with our next. But we're gonna do our elemental rare. This is the first elemental rare Bakugan I ever bought. This I bought this at Walmart. But this is the element rare Pyrus Dragonoid. Um, but very cool Bakugan. Um, and his B power is, let's see, he's at 1000 B power. So I'm gonna look for his card. But this is what he looks like. The element rares have like this like significant pattern. Um, but it's almost like another layer of color. Um, and these all, I mean, they have more. I will say they're very special. And when you get an elemental rare, it's very special. But if you can get like a diamond Bakugan, that is also really rare. Rarer than Arliss Bakugan, because Arliss is not an element. It is a rarity. Okay, so yeah, here is Dragonoid Ultra. But here's Dragonoid, and right here, I can already tell that he is going to be a really. I mean, if we even wanted to do this, we could. You. So he'd be at 5 attack damage plus bringing him to 2000. So yeah, we could really use him. This guy would be a powerhouse. Like um, but he takes a green fist and a fire fist as well. Like our core Dragonoid. Dragonoids are gonna take usually the same cores. Like for this, our elemental rare and our core battle planet Dragonoid, they are taking the exact same cores. So Dragonoid, I feel like, is one of those Bakugan where his core, his main cores don't change at really that often. All right, we'll do this. We'll use this Fire Fist because it will add +6 attack. So, and I think that's a good way of doing that is, or really choosing a core, that might not even affect his attack too much. But his B power, maybe. I like to use, like... No. Something that... I mean, we could pile attack damage on him. I think maybe that'd be a good idea. If we wanted him to be a true, like, attack, like, be dealing a lot of damage, being a powerhouse, we could do both a green... If he landed on this green fist, he would be at 500 attack... Or not 500, 5 attack damage. If he landed on this 6, this fire fist, he would be at 8. He'd be pushing it at 8 attack damage. So, I feel like if we were to really use this Dragonoid, we could build up his attack in the matter of every turn. Or at least, yeah, every turn that we have. Because I know, what is it? I know in the rules is that if you roll your Bakugan and it lands on a core, and the opponent rolls theirs, and theirs either rolls off the core, I'm pretty sure they lose that round. But it's very cool. Very, very cool. Alright, next up we have Killian. Now, I don't know what kind of Bakugan Killian is. He looks like some sort of like dino dog or dino something. I don't know. He's very unique though. But here is Killian. Or he could be like a goat or something like that. But yeah, these things spread like that. But there's Killian. Okay, so Killian actually comes with an ability, which is quite cool. If I had the Diamond Killian, that would be awesome. I don't even know. He's probably available in like a starter pack or one of those stadium boxes or whatever, but Killian O Ultra. The ability is when he opens, if it has so if this Killian has lower B power. So when this opens, if it has lower, so our Killian has 300 B power. So basically, if our opponent has a Bakugan that has more B power than our Killian, we can play Diamond Killian Ultra for free. Meaning that we don't have to like do it, we can send him out. And Killian Ultra, but he looks a lot of crazy. Like he looks like a deer crossed with a dragon with horse hooves. 650. So he you could go up to 950. And then okay, so if we use this one here, he'd be at 350 and he'd gain one attack. So that would bring him up to 3 attack damage. Um yeah. Interesting Bakugan, but he's an ultra, so I would use mainly all these Bakugan in a deck, but building their B power up, I would say for certain Bakugan would be really good, because I feel like if they have only 100 B power and you land on a trap, that Bakugan would be defeated. I mean, could be very well defeated, that is. Next up, we've got Bat Tricks. He's a bat. I don't see blah blah blah. But Bat Tricks is actually an Ultra Bakugan from Armored Alliance, the set where they will uh where they brought in the battle gear. Um I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna go grab a drink. Yes, Tom, I need my water right away. That was 13 years ago. Arnold Palmer alert! Arnold Palmer alert! Who wants some Arnie Palmies? Sweetie, this one has the vodka right here. Hal, just place the count, please. All right. I did things in bed with you that I haven't done with anyone since. And Christina's your husband. Oh, no, he knows. You're a lucky dog. Oh, Christina, this is a lovely house. It's Christina. Are you stupid or are you deaf? Christina! You idiot! You come to our house, you get my wife's name right! Christina! Look, we really appreciate the hospitality and we'd just love to get the message up to your cell phone. We believe it might give us information regarding a kidnapping. Okay. Why don't you come to the kitchen and I will let you listen to it and everyone else stay here. Okay, sweetie. Oh, there's my phone. Oh, great. Thank you. You probably think because of the beard that I'm really hairy. But, I'm not. Shit. Alan! What? Alan! Alan! Somebody's turn! Let's go! Hey! You get back here! You ain't none of my wife! Okay. I just do not get it. I mean, that girl Kristen was seriously hot. Your wife is crazy hot. I mean, even that Brazilian security chick, she threw you a junior back. What is it with you and hot ladies? First off, my wife is cute, but she's not hot. Dude, you're insane. Your wife is scalding hot. Well, it's Mexican. You have one job, mate. Find a sucker to invest with you so you can pay my boss back the money you lost. I don't care who. Right. I actually became baron of the psycho. That's 32 million. Who's got $32 billion to wow? 1/2 of the money. Did you take all your... Yeah, I did. Yep. Now, since you're following me, I need to know two very big Hey, Tom. Who was in the security team? Tom. What, Jen? Did you give your father his foot massage? No, Jen. Tom. But yeah, guys, this is Batrix, but he's a great. I think he would be a really good ultra to use. But he takes a Helix core, which different cores, as I said, are quite awesome. I mean, so far we've gotten the blue shields, the orange shields, the green fists, the fire fists, the helix cores, and the actually those are the main cores. Those are the main. But for bat tricks, we need actually we'll think of. I'm gonna put. Let's give him. I think because I like this guy a lot. So let's give him a boost here. I can't give him just a 50 B power boost. That's that's very cheap on my part. But bat tricks, okay, so he's so if he lands on that helix, he's gonna get. So that is an interesting theory, though. Like, but I feel like if he lands on a core, you get that core bonus. So it's not just half the core you would get for the bonus, it's all of it. If you land on this single core, I mean, the thing is, there's Bakugan that actually, so like, if our Batrix double cored, so, and this actually is something very cool that there's Bakugan that can double core. And it's really not so much on the design of the Bakugan, it's their magnet, how strong it is. So, like, we could have this Batrix double core, the shield, and the helix core, which you can do that and amp him up so much. But I will say, double coring doesn't always happen all the time, but it is a I would say a real it's a surprise when you're able to do it, because then you've got two cores, and two cores could be really good. One of them could be good, one of them could be bad, or both can be bad. So you don't know the core. I mean, you're aiming hopefully for a good core, or a core that your Bakugan has on their card that matches their card. So like for us, if we had like shields and helix out there with, we would try to aim for a helix or a shield for Batrix, because those are his cores he uses, and that would give him those boosts. So, as I said, if we get him to double core, that would be really cool. So, not only would he gain, because four, if we add these beeps, so that would be seven. So, I don't even know if there's a Bakugan that can even do that can even go to. Is it possible they can go to 14? Actually, no. It would be 1,400. So actually, yeah. So 1,400 B power. So that's a lot. That would be a lot of B power on one Bakugan. And then we would have that 3 attack on that Helix being a 5. So, and double coring, depending on the cores, it can, as I said, it can be really good. It could be good. It could be good and bad. It could be really good, and you could have two. You could double core two good cores, or you could have them both as traps, which does happen as well. But double core is not illegal to play in the Bakugan game as far as rolling them, playing with your friends. Not I'm not referring to the video games, but when you actually play the game with the Bakugan, the cores, um but and there's techniques of rolling as well, rolling your Bakugan. Um but as I said, like that's one of the best things is that like you're trying to aim for a core that your character car or your Bakugan has for one of its cores. So like for Batrix, we would be, as I said, we would be aiming for a Helix core or a Green Shield core. So there you have it. And that goes for pretty much any Bakugan. And the double coring actually has nothing to do with the Bakugan itself. It's the magnet. Because I feel like the magnet is really what picks up. It's what's going to pick up the cores. Because those of you that know Bakugan have magnets. But cool deal. All right, we're moving on. We're moving very quickly through this. But as I said, I'm gonna be uploading the video I did last night. That's gonna be part one of this video, and then tomorrow I'll upload this one that I did tonight. But here is our next Bakugan. Now this is probably one of my favorite. So this is our metal Bakugan from what is it? Metal or but you can feel so they're not all metal. But this is a Dragonoid, but he is actually so this piece here is metal. We've got three metal Bakugan. We have metal Chaos Colossus. We've got metal Nelius, and then we've got metal Dragon or Dragonoid Strength Mode. I always call him that. Um, So yeah, this is Platinum Neo Dragonoid Strength. So he would really be a good Bakugan to take out. But watch this. There he is, all puffed out. He's like, look at my fist. And then he's got a little horn that comes out. And I always have trouble. Actually, you just flick it out like that. There we go. But his fists, they look freaking awesome. Sorry, guys. I'm just laughing at a scene from a movie. It's Step Brothers. All right, so here is our Platinum Neo Dragonoid. So he um is gonna he his cores are two green fists. He gets an ability though, which is really cool. So if he lands on a green fist, plus 500 B power. And actually we could do this one. Excuse me. So not only but green fist plus 500 B power. So we could. So he would be stacked. We can stack him pretty freaking. So yeah, let's do this. So all right. So we land on this green core. He's gonna get 3 attacks. So that's gonna bring him to 5. Plus. All right. So plus 600. So 8. 8 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's 1,400 B power. Right? So actually, but that is crazy though for a Bakugan and that 5 attack. Imagine, I mean, this guy would be a good building up like Baku power or attack for that. Like this guy would be a tank. Not so much a tank, but he'd just be a brutal powerhouse. I mean, I would say more than the others, like our other Dragonoids we showed tonight. Like this guy would be double giving out that damage like handing out popsicles. But yeah, he would. I don't doubt it. But our next Bakugan. So this is our last one for our Ultra Bakugan. This is Ultra Pegasus or Pegatrix, not Pegasus. But actually that's what Pegatrix is a Pegasus, so that is accurate. Pegatrix Ultra right here. Now I'm gonna do this for Pegatrix for a reason, but I'm gonna attach her battle gear on her. But I want to show you guys something really cool. Pop her open. All right, yeah, there is Pegasus in her battle gear. Freaking. But that is her own personal battle gear, and it is awesome. So let's pull that out, and we're gonna pull out that battle gear. I think it's called the pyro cannon. Yep, here it is. So the pyro cannon. So we're actually going to attach. So, yep. So if we use this, it's going to cost 2 energy for what I'm pretty sure that means, right? But it's so Pegatrix Ultra is going to get 900 B power. So, hang on. We're gonna pull out her. Okay, so the cost of the energy is gonna be two. Okay. So the pyro cannon's gonna cost two energy to use. And gear can be played to boost the stats of bakugan. Alright, and let's say we land on this core. That's gonna bring Pegatrix Ultra up to a 900. She's a Pyrus Bakugan, so 3 attack. That's gonna bring her up to 4. So she would be hitting 1,000 at this point. 1,000 B power. And then her attack, we've got 4, 6 attack. So she would be dealing she'd be having 1,000 B power and 6 attack damage, meaning that she would be hitting awfully hard with this battle gear equipped to her. But I mean, that's how cool the battle gear is. Um, but we've got two more Bakugan I am going to be talking about. So we have our Geogon left. And Geogon, you guys saw my Ventus Geogon. I only have two of them. I've got only two Pyrus Geogon as well, with of course the traps that make Maximus Dragonoid, which is from the first gen Bakugan. I'm gonna take a break from the baku. I'll finish up with the geogon, but I'm gonna read some Deltora quests. So for a recap in the book, we stopped at so they're in this forest, um and Barda and Leaf get bit by these army of I don't know what they're like insect, but their bite is a paralyzing bite, leaving Barda and Leaf both paralyzed. Leaf said that he thought it was that he had died, but was paralyzed, meaning he could move his body. But they had met. So the chapter I ended off with is an elf lady fell from the tree and landed on Leaf. So let's see where we are with that. It's called the Wen Bar. Now the Wen Bar. All right, let's see what happens. Astounded, Leaf blinked up at the girl. She was about his own age, elfin faced, meaning that she looked like an elf. Her face looked like an elf, with black hair, a slanting black brows, and green eyes. She was dressed in ragged gray clothes that seemed strangely familiar. She was bending over him, unfastening the ties of his cloak. Thank heavens you have come, he whispered. This will be useful, Philly, the girl said with a shock. Leaf realized that she was not speaking to him, but to a small, furry, wide eyed creature that was clinging to her shoulder. How lucky that we came this way today, she went on. If we had left it until tomorrow, the cloth would have been quite spoiled. With a single push of her slim, sun-browned arm, she rolled Leaf onto his side so that she could pull the cloak from beneath him. Then she let him roll back and stood up, the cloak draped carelessly over her arm. A harsh cry came from overhead. Leaf raised his eyes and saw a black bird, a raven perched in the tree, from which the girl had leapt its head on one side. It was watching them carefully with one sharp yellow eye. The girl grinned and held up the cloak. See what I found, Cree? She called. A fine new blanket for the nest. But we are coming back now. Do not fear. She turned to go. No, shouted Leaf in panic. Do not leave us. You cannot leave us here to die. Barda roared at the same moment, but already the girl had disappeared from sight, taking the cloak with her. And suddenly, in the midst of his despair, Leaf thought of his mother's hands patiently weaving the cloth by candlelight. Bring back my cloak, he bellowed. Even as he shouted, he knew how foolish it was. He was going to die horribly very soon. What did it matter if the cloak was gone? But somehow it did matter. You have no right to take it, he shouted furiously to the empty air. My mother made it for me. My mother. There was a moment's silence, then, to Leaf as astonishment, the girl was back, staring down at him suspiciously through the tangled mass of her hair. I wonder if I'm wondering. I don't know. It reminds me of something like Medusa, like Medusa, because Medusa in Greek mythology was that chick with the woman with snakes in her hair. But if you stared at her, she would turn you into stone. The only way of killing Medusa was it showing her a mirror or something like that so she could look at herself. Or no, it was also putting a blindfold on and then cutting her head off with a sword. How could your mother have made this cloak? She demanded. Gray guards do not know their mothers. They are raised in groups of 10. In houses with. I'm not a gray guard, shouted Leaf. My friend and I are travelers from Dell. Can you not see by our garments? The girl laughed scornfully. Your disguise does not fool me. Only gray guards take the Wendell path, for it leads nowhere but to the forests. She raised her hand to caress the little animal clinging to her shoulder, and her voice hardened. Many of your fellows have been here before you, seeking living things to take or destroy. They have learned painfully of their mistake. We're not guards, Barda called out. My name is Barda, my companion is Leaf. We came to the forests for a good reason. What reason? The girl demanded disbelievingly. We cannot tell you, said Leaf. She turned away, shrugging with a surge of panic. Leaf shouted after her, What is your name? Where's your family? Can you bring them here? The girl paused and turned back to look at them again. She seemed puzzled, as though no one had ever asked her such things before. My name is Jasmine, she said at last. Cree and Philly are my family. Grey Guards took my mother and father long ago. Leaf's heart sank, so there was no one to help her carry them to safety. But still, she was strong. Perhaps even now there was some way the Grey Guards are deadly enemies as they are yours, he said as calmly and forcefully as he could. Our quest to the forest is part of a plan to defeat them, to rid Deltora of the Shadow Lord. Help us, we beg you. He held his breath as the girl hesitated, fingering the cloak she still held over her arm. Then above their heads the blackbird screeched again. Jasmine glanced up at it, threw the cloak down on the Leaf's chest, and darted away without another word. Come back, cried Leaf, with all his strength. Jasmine, but there was no reply, and when he looked up to the tree again, even the bird had gone. Leaf heard Barda moan once in helpless anger. Then there was utter silence. No bird sang. No small creature rustled in the grass. It was the silence of waiting, the silence of despair, the silence of death. The sun sank lower in the sky. Long dark shadows stripped the place where they lay. Soon, very soon, it would be dark, and when thought Leaf, then the Wenbar will come. The cloak felt warm on his chest. He could not lift a hand to touch it, but still it gave him comfort. He was glad that it was with him. He closed his eyes. Something gripped his shoulder. He cried out in terror and opened his eyes to see Jasmine's face close to his. Open your mouth, the girl ordered. Make haste. She pushed a tiny bottle towards his lips. Confused, Leaf did as he was told. He felt 2 cold drops fall on his tongue. A horrible taste filled his mouth. What? He spluttered, but Jasmine had already turned away from him. Open your mouth, he heard her hissing to Barda. A moment later, Barda made a choking, disgusted sound. Leaf realized that he too had been given some of the vile tasting liquid. Poison, Barda rasped. You Leaf's heart, or Barda rasped. You! Leaf's heart gave a great thud, then suddenly his body grew hot and began to prickle all over. With every instant, the feeling grew stronger and more frightening. The heat became burning. The prickles became needle-sharp jabs of pain. It was as though he was caught in a flaming thorn brush. The warning screech of the bird sounded far above them. The sky was red through the leaves of the tree. Barda was crying out, but now Leaf could hear nothing, see nothing, feel nothing but his own pain and fear. He began to writhe and thrash on the ground. Then dimly he realized that Jasmine was bending over him. She was pulling at his arms, kicking at him with hard bare feet. Get up. She was urging, listen to me. Do you not see what you are doing? You are moving. You can move. You can move, gasping, hardly able to believe it. Leaf fought back the pain and struggled to his hands and knees. Blindly, he felt for his cloak. He was not going to leave it now. The tree, Jasmine shouted. Crawl to the tree and climb. The Wenbar is almost upon us. She had already turned to Barda. He was rolling on his bed of ferns, groaning in agony. Leaf hauled himself towards them, dragging his cloak behind him. But the girl waved him back. Go, she cried furiously. I will see to him. Go, climb. Leaf knew she was right. He could not help her or Barda. It was as much as he could do to help himself. He began to crawl towards the trunk of the great tree. His legs and arms were trembling. His whole body shuddered, swept by waves of heat. He reached the tree and pulled himself upright. There was a low branch near his hand. He grasped it, panting, and with the other hand pulled his cloak around him. Only a day or two ago he had climbed a rope to the top of a high wall without a thought. Now he doubted that he could even haul himself onto this branch. The clearing deemed the sun had slipped below the horizon. High above Leaf there was a clatter of wings as the blackbird left its perch. Calling harshly, urgently, it soared down to where Jasmine staggered towards the tree with Barda leaning on her shoulder. I know, Cree, Jasmine gasped as the bird flapped anxiously around her head. I can smell it. As she said the words, Leaf smelt something too. A faint, sickening odor of decay was stealing through the clearing. His stomach turned over. He tied the strings of the cloak, grasped the branch with both hands, and managed to pull himself up. He clung to the rough bark, panting and shaking, afraid that even now he might fall. Jasmine and Barda had reached the tree now, the bird still swooping above them. Higher, Jasmine shouted to Leaf. As high as you can. It cannot climb, but it will try to claw us down. Leaf gritted his teeth, lifted his arms, and hauled himself to a higher branch. He heard Barda grunting with effort as he struggled to climb after him. The evil smell was stronger now, and there was a sound, a heavy, stealthy sliding and the snapping of twigs, the rustling of leaves and the cracking of branches as something moved towards the clearing. Make haste! Jasmine had leapt up beside Leaf. The tiny creature she called Philly was chattering on her shoulder, its eyes wide with fear. Barda, Leaf managed to say, he knows what he must do. You can help him. Only by moving out of his way, the girl snapped. Climb, you fool. Do you not understand? The sun has set. The Wenbar is. Philly screamed. The blackbird screeched. The bushes on the other side of the clearing thrashed and bent. The air thickened with a smell so vile that Leaf choked and gagged. Then a huge, hideous creature, like nothing he had ever seen, crawled into view. Four stubby legs, bent under the weight of a swollen body that was as round, blotched, and bloated as some gigantic rotten fruit. Vast, flat feet crushed the twigs beneath them to powder. Folds of wrinkled green-gray flesh hung from the neck. The head was nothing but two tiny eyes set above long, wicked jaws. The jaws gaped open, showing rows of dripping black teeth and releasing gusts of foul air with every breath. Choking back a cry of disgust and terror, Leaf scrambled higher into the tree, forcing his trembling legs and arms to obey his will. One branch, then another and another. A terrible growl sounded in the clearing. He looked down. Barda and Jasmine were just below him, and they too were looking down. The Wenbar had reached the fern bed. It was snapping its jaws together, jerking its head from side to side, growling with anger at finding its prize gone. We are safe, thought Leaf, his heart pounding. Safe? It cannot reach us up here. He closed his eyes, almost dizzy with relief. Leaf shrieked, Jasmine! And Leaf opened his eyes just in time to see the Wenbar rear up, its front legs clawing at the air, its pale gray belly gleaming through the dimness. The creature roared, and the folds of skin hanging from its neck disappeared as the neck swelled and grew, raising its head higher and higher, and then it was leaping forward, hurling itself at the tree, its jaws snapping, its tiny eyes burning with rage and hunger. Definitely interesting. So the Wenbar is a creature, and the elf lady is actually, and I was right, was Jasmine. So that's really cool. All right, so we've got two more Bakugan to show. Actually, I'll show you the Geogon right now. And I'll pull out their cards as well. Um, all right, so our two Geogon in our Pyrus faction, we have Sertrin. So Sertrin and Archelion are very interesting because I feel like they're actually based off of like mythological creatures that like we think of today. Or actually, one of them I feel so Sertrin, I feel like is uh is definitely a Bakugan that relates to Surtur, the fire god from Asgard, in Norse mythology, um, in the Thor films as well. So I feel like Surtrin is actually a Bakugan that really idolizes, like basically captures the demigod himself. But here is Surtrin. Now Surtrin is, I will say, one of my favorite Geogon. I also have him in the Aquas faction as well. Him and the Ventus Montrapod came in. They came in. What was it? That like foldable tent. I don't remember what it was. It was like a yeah. It was like a fold up tent. Um, but they were the two exclusive Bakugan, or yeah, Bakugan for that. But this is Surtrin now. Surtrin is so like the Baku gear you guys saw. The Geogon also use energy, meaning that to summon a Geogon you do need energy to do it. Um, but I'm pretty sure. So what you would do is, I'm pretty sure you would, because our Surtrin has 1100 B power. 1100. And he could go to 1500. I don't know how that goes if the Bakugan that you swap with him gets the B power, because that might make sense. So let's see. Honestly, I'm gonna have to read how that works, but I know the Geogon. If you summon a Geogon, it will cost you energy, but they say you treat them as a Bakugan. You know, just really because you have your Baku power, and you've got your attack for your Geogon right here. So I'm wondering if that there is, you could be stacking damage to your Geogon, because Geogon are basically, if a Bakugan can't defeat another opponent's Bakugan, then Geogon are gonna hold the more attack, more power than your Bakugan. That summon the Geogon, or the because the Geogon are like basically your other resort, and if your core Bakugan can't defeat another opponent's Bakugan, or but there is Surtrin. Next up we have Surtrin, and I'm looking at his card here. So he would get double strike. So he would be, if he landed on, so yeah, I think you actually treat these as Bakugan, which would make sense. I'm just trying to figure this out. 12, 13, 14, 1500. Yeah, 1500 B power is what he would be at if he landed on a shield here. And if he landed on a magic shield, I see. So if you probably were to roll Surtrin on a core, so yeah, that makes sense. You would just add the, if he landed on a green shield, he would get the B power. Not green shield, orange shield. Or if he landed on the magic shield, he would be able to get a double strike. So that would bring him up to 6 attack damage. But they do come at an energy cost, so you can't. So, but I'm wondering if it has to be a Pyrus Bakugan. So that's my thing, is that if it's a Bakugan that you're using and you're switching, I would think you'd have to choose a Bakugan that has the orange shield and the magic shield. and then you could basically, which would make sense. So like, hang on, let me look. I'm gonna look at my deck here to see if there is, because I feel like there is a Bakugan that will use. So so if we were to use Kellyon, he has an orange shield and magic. So, but I don't know. Would that? Yeah, if he could do or um, or Spartillion would be another one. So like Spartillion could also get that and summon Surtrin, but summoning Surtrin would cost 2 energy. So with the bonus Spartillion would get, he would get 500 if we chose that. But I'm wondering if it. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But that is really cool if that's the concept is that because Archelion takes 1 energy to bring him out, and he's at 900 B power now. Archelion is a manticore. He looks like a so a manticore is a creature in Greek mythology that has the head of a lion, the horns of a bull, the wings of a, it's either a bat or a dragon, and the tail of a scorpion. But this is so Archelion is Dan, the main character that has Dragonoid. This is his Geogon, and Archelion has double strike as well, which, so again, if we use core Dragonoid and we decided let's use the energy, bring down Archelion, he's got the double strike, so he can attack 4 times. So I'm wondering, so it shows okay, attack, summon. So I mean, or is it a, yeah? So I'm gonna have to see how Geogon work, but I'm pretty sure that you can leave your Bakugan out while, like, you'd be able to use your the Geogon is gonna be your best friend. I feel like using any core Bakugan, like your core Dragonoid, Archelion would be perfect. But yeah, guys, what I'll do is we'll learn to play the game tomorrow. Because we just went through my whole Pyrus collection, including the battle gear, the core Bakugan, the Ultra Bakugan. But I did remember one. So hang on, let me just try to see what this guy. Okay, that is our Genesis Dragonoid we did show. But I forgot to show this one. This is the Dragonoid from the new. So this is Generation 3. Good night, Mom. Can you hear me? Yep. But we have a Diamond Generation 3 Dragonoid. So he's really cool. Unfortunately, like Trox, his legs don't move all at once. But that's okay. But this is a Diamond Dragonoid, and he is very cool. Very awesome. I don't really like how they have the feet like that. Like, I don't know. I think Generation 2 in my book is a lot better than the 3rd generation in my books. Big time. Alright, but anyways, thank you all for watching. I'm hoping you guys like that chapter of Deltora quests, of the Wenbar thing. I feel like is going to be a big issue. I mean, it's already a creature that's causing an issue that chased all Leaf up a tree, And poor Jasmine is trying to scare the damn thing off. But now we have the full main characters of the book all embarking on the journey. But we have, so tomorrow we will do another chapter, and we will be moving in to showcasing, I'm thinking Aquaspark. I think we'll do another, so I'll view my Aquas Bakugan collection tomorrow. Because my darkest collection is about the same size as my pyrus collection, so it's big. It's big. Between pyrus and, I would say, pyrus and darkest, the numbers pretty at this point is very. It's almost, the numbers are adding up. But Pyrus Bakugan, I feel like I would say for Bakugan, you want to build a deck around. You could use all Pyrus Bakugan, but the rule is you cannot use the same Bakugan in the same element playing the game. And everybody knows that. You can use the same Bakugan in different elements. That is okay. That's not against the rules. So, like, if I had, like, a core Pyrus Dragonoid, a core Ventus Dragonoid, and a core Darkest Dragonoid, I could do that. But good night, everyone. I am going to upload this one, but I'm going to upload the first video tonight and upload this one tomorrow.